Hello, welcome for today's module. We have been studying deep foundations till now. Till now, we studied the what are pile foundations, what are their classifications, and we tried to learn about the first classification that is based on materials. So we have studied the classification of pile foundations according to material. In today's module, we are going to learn about classification of pile foundation based on their function. Also, along with this, we are going to learn about what are pile caps. The major component of a pile foundation is a pile cap. So, we will study in detail about pile caps. Also, we are going to study one more type of foundation, that is Cajun foundations, that are mostly used for underwater pile foundations. So, let us see in detail about each one of these. Okay. So, according to the function, pile foundations are classified into the following types. So let us see one by one. So majorly there is end-bearing piles, then there are friction piles, there are compaction piles, tension piles or uplift piles, then there are anchor piles, fender piles, and there are sheet piles.
So the first type is bearing piles. These are mostly driven into the ground until we reach to the hard strata. So they act as kind of pillars to support the superstructure and they transmit the load to the ground. So these piles themselves do not support or load, rather they act as the medium to transmit the load from the foundation to the resisting substrata. So then second type is the friction piles. These are also known as floating piles. These are driven at the site where soil is weak or soft to the considerable depth, and it is not economical or rather possible to raise the bottom end of the pile to the hard strata. That time friction piles are preferred. So the load in friction piles, the load is carried by the friction developed between the sides of the pile and the surrounding ground. So skin friction, you can see it in this diagram. So the piles are driven up to such a depth that the skin friction is developed at the sides of the piles, that it equals to the load that is coming onto the piles. So the skin friction should be carefully evaluated and suitable factor of safety should be applied while doing the design for these piles. As it is this which is supporting the whole of the structure cover over its head, and the load carrying capacity of such friction piles can be increased by additionally increasing their diameter, or they can driving the pile for a larger depth or grouping the piles together, or also by making surface of the pile rougher, okay, so that there is more and more friction possible at the skin of the pile. Then further, next type is the sheet piles. Okay, these are as the name suggests, these sheet piles, they are never used to provide vertical support, but mostly they are used to act like kind of a retaining walls. We all know that retaining walls support structures at one end by becoming a wall which will resist the thrust that is coming on it from the soil behind it. So they are used for majorly to construct retaining walls in docks and their marine works, where the boats are to be anchored. To protect the erosion of river banks, to retain the sides of foundation trenches, to confine the soil to increase its bearing capacity, to also to protect the foundation of superstructure of the structures from erosion by river or sea, or to isolate the foundations from adjacent soils. So this sheet acts like a diaphragm and protects the structure. You can see these in these diagrams as well. So next type is the anchor piles. We have the anchor piles. They are used to provide anchorage against the horizontal pull from the sheet piling wall or other pulling forces. So they are in the combination. So next is the batter piles. These are driven at the inclination to resist the large horizontal or inclined forces. So according to the kind of force that has been applied, the positioning of these different piles is happening. Let us now see the next type, that is fender piles. So these piles are used to protect the concrete deck or other waterfront structures from the abrasion or impact caused by the ships or barges. Ordinarily, these are made up of timber, the fender piles. The compaction piles, when piles are driven in granular soil with the aim of increasing the bearing capacity of the soil, the piles are known as compaction piles. Further, now let us see what are pile caps. So pile cap is a thick concrete mat that rests on the concrete or timber piles that have been driven into the soft or unstable ground to provide suitable stable foundation. So it usually forms a part of the foundation of a building, typically a multi-story building or a structure or a support system for base for the heavy equipment, etc. So the cast concrete pile cap, they distribute the load of the building into the piles. A similar structure to a pile cap is a raft, which we all know that it is a concrete foundation floor resting directly onto the soil, which may be liable to subsidence. So the pile caps, they carry heavy point loads. Okay, so they tend to produce high tensile stresses at the pile cap. So reinforcement of the pile caps is very important. So the reinforcement is usually designed to provide first the resistance to tensile bending forces in the bottom of the cap and resistance to vertical shear that is happening. So accordingly the pile cap reinforcement is designed. Now let us see in what all forms are pile caps available and how is the shape of those is formed. So the dimensions of pile caps are determined by the loads and the arrangements of the connection of the structure and the foundation. So the piles can be used individually or in the group. So accordingly, the pile caps, they create a stable foundation and offer a larger area for the distribution of the building load that is onto the piles. Then it acts as also the pile cap, they act as similar way to the pile raft foundations as mentioned. So also if we see the forms, they are available in rectangular, triangular or hexagonal shapes as well. So how is the design of these calculated, or how are these forms generated? If we see basically, if we see a rectangular kind of a pile cap, so at the both the ends there will be two piles. So the center of gravity of these piles is calculated, and over there the load is supposed to be distributing from there to the two piles. So the pile cap is combining together these two piles. So similarly, the design according to the load distribution, it happens for triangular or further shapes or forms. So when there is group action in piles, so when there are severally closely placed piles are grouped together, it is reasonable to expect that the soil pressure is developed in the soil also will be overlapping. So the bearing capacity of the pile group may not be equal to the sum of the bearing capacity of the individual pile consisting or a group. But the end bearing group, there is no reduction in the bearing capacity. The efficiency of pile group depends on the I'll mention the factors. So first is the characteristic of the pile, like the length, the diameter, the material that is used, the spacing of the piles, then the total number of columns in a row, the number of rows. So that these are all important factors when we talk about grouping action of the piles. Now next important part we are going to talk about is the caisson foundations. So in civil engineering, the caissons denote watertight structures which are constructed in connection with the excavation for foundations of bridges, piers, abutments in the river and lake dock structure, these kind of structures. So foreshore protection also is done by using these. Then the caisson, it remains in its pose and thus ultimately it becomes an integral part of the permanent structure. They can be constructed using timber, steel or RCC, etc. So when is it required? So mostly if we see the possible conditions, suitable conditions for this foundation, when the soil contains large boulders when the soil contains large boulders which obstruct the penetration of pile, When the massive substructure is required to extend to or below the rear bed of the to provide the resistance against destructive forces due to floating objects or anything like that. Then when the foundation is subjected to large lateral load, or when the river forces are there are river forces that are included in the load compositions. So these are the various reasons, and few more are the reasons for where the caissons are required. So basically it is a kind of box with no floor underneath it. So when we put in underwater, instead of filling up with water as it is airtight, bubbles form. So as a result, we have a dirt floor from where all the water is kept out. But water is heavy, so the surface of the water is exerting pressure on the caissons. So, and it tries to enter the caisson. So in order to solve this, we build a platform up in the top and tube connecting the caisson to the platform that exerts the compressed pressure into the surface of the caissons. The front pressure of the chamber pressure equalizes therefore. So workers climb down in the box and they start digging the dirt out of it. Now if the dirt is taken out manually, all the water will come inside and drown everything. So to solve this, we build a pipe full of water. Air pressure from the environment and inside pressure of the caisson keep the water intact in the pipe. Next, the workers send a bucket through the pipe and fill it with the dirt when carried back up. Thus, the workers can dig their way down the riverbed. Now we have basic types of caissons: box caissons, open caissons, and pneumatic caissons. So basically box caissons, if we see in this diagram, these are majorly the caissons that closes at the bottom and opens at the top. Hence, as the name suggests, it is generally box shaped as opposed to the cylindrical. Then it is constructed on land, it floats to the job site, then it is sunk into the place by adding filler material such as concrete, gravel, sand, etc. So they are commonly used in situations where foundations sink into soft soil like clay, gravel, crushed rock, silt, etc. So the major advantage is that the closed bottom of the box will settle by adding filling material while open top. When we talk about open caissons, so if we see this diagram, there is this sand filling done. Okay, so like in caissons, there are open at these are also open at the top. The difference is that they are also open at the bottom. You see there is this bottom plug. So therefore open caissons are most often cylinders. Open caissons are generally placed in an excavated site which is pit that is several meters deep. In some cases the cofferdam is built in advance to excavate and place open caissons. So the making of it can be little crucial. So if we see the third type, the pneumatic caissons. So these are open at the bottom and closed at the top. Once placed, compressed air forces water out, creating a dry work environment in the water, which workers enter through the airlocks. This type of caissons have several advantages such as ability to examine the soil bed and work in controlled condition. However, the process of using this type of caisson is slow and expensive. So this is why generally only used in situations like rapid soil flow, where other type of caisson foundations are impractical. Then the construction process for this, first we must set the place first for the establishment of the caissons. Then first 3.7 meters of caisson is pre-casted. So next, with the help of tow board, the caisson is floated to its location by the tied to caisson guide. Then after that, concrete is placed or poured using slip forming, and as a concrete goes, the box becomes heavier and it starts sinking into the water along with the caisson guide. So the mooring cables are used to hold the caissons in place. When the caissons finally touches the river bottom, the mooring cables are removed. So finally the cap is poured. So this is how caisson foundations altogether are constructed.